Hey guys, it's Pope and welcome back to my channel. As the title of this video suggests, I got a boob job. That's where I've been the last couple of weeks. Haven't uploaded in a little while and now you know why. Big surprise. I'm really excited. It's something that I had been thinking about basically all year long, ever since I stopped my breastfeeding journey with Scarlett. And it's been like a whirlwind of emotions for me because I had like a bigger chest before I started lifting, and then with my lifting body they got to like medium size, but something that I was like so comfortable with. I didn't feel like they totally went away. And then I got pregnant and they got so freaking big. They were like the size of my head, like uncomfortably big. And then with breastfeeding they stayed really big for a while, and then as she started tapering off with feedings they started going away, and I was like, oh, this is okay. I was kind of back to my norm. And then they just kept going away and going away and going away. And by the time she was done, when she quit me with breastfeeding, I literally didn't have anything left, but I still had the skin left. So I was just very sad with what my end result after pregnancy and breastfeeding was. And it made me feel really down about myself. Not necessarily in any area except for when I was naked. So this doesn't really affect anything besides like my self-confidence and like my sex life and how I feel about myself naked, which does matter. And so I decided to consult with a plastic surgeon. She had a really long waiting list, which actually I felt like was a good thing for me because it gave me time to decide if that's something I really wanted to do. I did a lot of research on my doctor, made sure I found one with really good reviews. Their entire staff was female. I didn't want to go to a male doctor for this because I felt like I wouldn't be able to like totally let my guard down and be vulnerable about how I felt about myself and what I was hoping to achieve from the surgery. So I went with a female doctor and I ended up really liking her at my appointment. And it was kind of surprising because I expected that I was just going to need an implant to kind of fill my chest back up. But she said that what I really needed was a breast lift more than I needed breast implants. And I hadn't done any research on a breast lift. But that totally made sense to try to get rid of some of the excess skin and pull them back up and then think about maybe an implant. And she said that I didn't even really need an implant, but that if I wanted to do both I could for a little bit more fuller look at the top. So that is the game plan that we ended up going with. I got a breast lift with a relatively small implant. I only went with a 215cc, which for the size I ended up being, that's actually pretty small. I think the smallest you can get is 100cc. So my stats overall ended up being 215cc implant with a lift, and I went over the muscle. And that is the like rare way of doing it. Most people do the implant under the muscle. But I was talking to my doctor after talking to several of my lifter friends that have gotten them under the muscle, and they've ended up shifting out towards the armpit too much from doing a lot of chest exercises. And because of the category of bodybuilding that I'm going to be competing in, where those plyo push-ups are such a factor, I need my chest to be super strong and super explosive. It's not something that I can just not train. And a lot of the time, if you get an implant under the muscle, they'll tell you like stay away from chest exercises. Well, that's not going to work for me. And I didn't want to end up displacing the implants. Like the last thing I would want is to have this surgery and then not end up liking the result. So my doctor, a little bit reluctantly, decided, okay, let's go for over the muscle, even though that's not really like her specialty. She said like 99% of the procedures she do is under the muscle. So I was like, all right, here's a challenge for you to do them over the muscle and still make them look good, because I didn't want them to turn out looking super fake. I just wanted to look, you know, like the old me, like feel like the old me. So I didn't want to just look like I got a pair of bolt-ons. And that's the challenge with not having them under the muscle, because sometimes you can see the implant. But she decided that I had enough breast tissue, like real boobs still, to go over the implant and hide them and still look natural. So that was our game plan, and it ended up going perfectly. I'm so excited with the result. Like I said, she had a really long wait. So from when I made my first consult appointment to when I actually had surgery was close to 8 months. And so that gave me like a really long time to change my mind, which was good. And a big part of the decision, which people have asked me about, was like, what are you going to do if you have more kids? Because yes, you can breastfeed with an implant, but I would be having to get it redone because I would end up needing another breast lift because my skin would stretch back out, it would get really big again, and I would just need it all redone again for them to look good after going through another pregnancy. And so this was really reflection time for me to decide if I am for real one and done, because that's what we were leaning towards. And after a lot of thinking, we decided we are one and done. I just want to spoil Scarlett, and we have a lot of things that we want to accomplish as a couple, as individuals, with my career, and we just want to be able to kind of tag her along and do all kinds of fun things and travel. And we just decided at our age, it's best for us to only have the one child. So Scarlett's going to be an only child. So I decided to go for it with my surgery and have this done a little bit before Thanksgiving. So yeah, right before Thanksgiving, I had my procedure. The very first day I was in a little bit of pain, like a lot of pressure on my chest. Felt like somebody was like sitting on my chest. I wouldn't call it like pain, but pressure is a good word for it. And so I took a bit of pain medication that first day, but that was really it. The next day I wasn't really in any pain. I just couldn't move, you know. I kind of stayed in bed for a couple days. I didn't go to my family Thanksgiving, and a little awkward having to tell everyone about Thanksgiving plans, like, hey, got a boob job, can't make it, sorry. But you know what, sometimes you have to put yourself first, and I decided that this was the time for me to put myself first. So it is what it is. I dealt with a little bit of embarrassment around talking about it like that, but my family and Josh's family were both very understanding, and our families really stepped up to help us in that first week with Scarlett. So that was really helpful, those first few days that I could literally just lay in bed and recover from the anesthesia. So the first week I basically didn't do anything, and I was taped up completely, so I didn't even see them at all during the first week, which was really stressful. I had no idea how they turned out, and with the bandages and the tape, I thought they were really, really big, and I was like, oh, I hope I didn't go too big, even though the size implant we chose was not big at all. It just, with the tape and everything, I was like, oh, what have I done? Because I couldn't tell what they actually looked like. But then when I went back to my 1 week checkup, they took off my bandages, and I was just so excited to see what the result was. I was in tears and with the nurse when she took them off, and when I got to see my doctor, she was like giving me a hug. Like, it was a really good, like, instant confidence boost for me, like feeling like, okay, now I can feel like myself again, and like feel sexy and feel good in my skin. And it's such a weird thing how much like your chest can do that for you or not do that for you. So yeah, I got my bandages off, was thrilled. I'm really happy with how they turned out. You can't see the implant like I was a little bit worried about with being over the muscle, and I actually thought they turned out looking very natural. I was really excited with what she did, and she was really happy with the result too. I also expected them to look like really gory and really scary when they took the bandages off, but they weren't like that at all. On one, I had some bruising on the side. The other one had no bruising, looked like nothing happened. And I have a lollipop incision, so it's around the nipple and straight down is how they cut me for the lift. And I expected these to look like really scary, especially at first, but the incisions are so tiny. They're not at all what I expected. It makes my C-section, which I'm actually pretty happy with how that scar healed. It doesn't look bad at all. It makes that look like they cut me with a butter knife. That's what I was saying. These scar lines are teeny tiny, and they were not like bumpy or anything. They look like they're gonna heal really easily. So then the second week, we actually went to St. Simon's because I needed a whole nother week to chill. So we went down to, my grandparents have a house in St. Simon's that we visit a lot. And we just hung out there for a week and let Scarlett play and just did my computer work, and that was it. And then the second week I went back, got my stitches out, and then I started to be able to move my arms again. That was the really hard part about those first 2 weeks. I could not move my arms except for like this. No reaching allowed. No pulling the fridge open, no car door, no pulling and no pushing of any kind, and no raising my arms. So the first 2 weeks, that was the hardest part. I was never really in any pain or discomfort, but just having to be so careful so that I didn't tear any of my internal stitches, it was really hard. And then from that 2-week point to 4 weeks, I could move my arms now, but I still couldn't pick up Scarlett. That was a huge challenge for me. Basically had to go an entire month without picking my kid up, which at first was very difficult for her to understand, but then I just kept saying, you know, Mama has a boo-boo, Mama has a boo-boo, and then she started understanding, started crawling up on the couch and come sit in my lap, or there's plenty of ways I could hold her, but I just couldn't pick her up off the floor. But she caught on pretty quickly and thankfully was an angel about it, because I was getting a lot of mom guilt like put on myself from that, but like we both worked through it together, which was nice. So after my 1 month checkup, then I could start doing some light cardio and start incorporating some body weight movement and leg strength. And now I am almost to my 6-week point where I'm able to be released for all movement. So I'm getting back into training now. I'm feeling really good now. I'm not getting any twinges or pain or anything at this point, which I was still getting kind of here and there. Just randomly I would like do something or push something and be like, oh, that's a little too much for now, and just remember not to do that certain thing or whatever. And I've started back with like some shoulder rehab, because that's one thing. I started getting the frozen shoulder that I'm prone to. So I started doing a little bit of like banded stuff a little earlier than they probably would have liked me to, but I didn't want to end up a whole nother injury. So yeah, really the recovery has gone really smooth, even though some of it was very difficult. But I am really happy with my decision to do this. I am really pleased with the result, and I'm happy that I got through this hardest part. And I just feel really good about it. I decided I was just going to openly talk about this because I've seen some other women just like get a boob job and never say anything about it, and I just don't think that would have gone over well with my following. I'm always very transparent about everything, and I've brought you guys along with so many different things that were like difficult times for me, and the good times too. So it would just be weird to like hide something from my followers, so I decided to just be open about it. And when I posted it on my Instagram, I got an overwhelming amount of support, especially from other moms, which made me feel like really good, like that people weren't like totally judging me for my decision. And it helped me kind of realize that there's not really the stigma around like breast augmentation like there maybe used to be. It's so like widespread now, and I don't know, it just felt good that other people like, you know, like got it, like what I had been feeling as far as like my confidence and what a boost this has given me. And a lot of people were just excited for me, which all felt really good. So in hindsight, I'm definitely glad that I decided to share this with my following. And a lot of people had a lot of questions that maybe were thinking about doing a surgery, and so I think I was helpful to some people like trying to navigate their own decisions as well. I obviously am not like advocating for this, but if you're already in the decision-making process, I'm happy to answer some people's questions. Today I'm going to be heading out to my home gym, and I'm going to be doing some really light dumbbell work because, like I said, I'm easing back into upper body now. And I am about 10 weeks out from the Arnold. Feeling kind of smushy. I don't feel ready for this show at all. I knew it was going to be like that. So as soon as I get the full clearance, I'm going to have to hit the ground running to get my physique back in shape and to get my skills for my gymnastics routine ready for the Arnold. But I think that I can do it. If not, I will just pick a different show at the last second, but I think there will be just enough time to get ready and go try to get my pro card at the Arnold. So stay tuned for my Road to the Arnold videos. And yeah, let's go hit the gym. wraps up my training for today. Not much to it. I basically used this week as like a reintroduction to using my upper body muscles. Today I was focusing on back and a bit of shoulders. Before my surgery, my main focus was trying to bring up my shoulders, and I made a good bit of progress on that in those few months. And so I'm gonna try to like pick that back up and hopefully get my shoulders nice and plump looking for me. Shoulders are one of my weaknesses, so that's gonna be something I'm really focused on, trying to make it as good as possible looking for the Arnold. I really want to get my pro carb, but I'm also trying to stay realistic about what shape I'm in today. But I know if I work really hard over these next couple months, I will get in a lot better shape and it will hopefully come together in time. This workout was super boring, but you have to do the boring stuff when you're recovering from surgery so you don't get injured on the way back. It's really important to take it slow and lightweight, so that's what I'm doing. Another one of my priorities right now is to get my full range of motion in my arms back. I'm about to like 95% now. I can't put my left arm completely behind my head the way that I used to be able to. And that came from not moving my arms for 2 weeks. It really tightened up my muscles. So I have a good bit of work on flexibility too. So I've definitely got my work cut out for me on this recovery, but I'm hungry, I'm ready to get back to work, and I'm excited for this challenge really. I want to let you guys know my bodybuilding program is launching at New Year's. So Dynamic Pursuit bodybuilding program is going to be called Dynamic Fitness. You guys are going to love these workouts. Before I had surgery, I completed the entire first cycle and it was amazing. I'm really proud of what I've put together for you guys, and I can't wait for you to try it out. I am offering some package discounts. So if you purchase like X amount of months or a year up front, it's super cheap and you'll get tons of programming for like next to nothing, basically, for cheaper than you pay literally for your Netflix. They're really good workouts and you're gonna make a lot of progress. So I'm really excited to be launching that. Go check it out on dynamicpursuit.net. If you found this video just by searching for breast augmentation information, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I am a weightlifter and bodybuilder. I'm going to be competing at the Arnold, obviously, trying to get my pro card for bodybuilding in the fitness category, which is one of the smallest categories. We do physique and also a performance routine. So it's kind of like the funnest category, I think, because we do so many different things. Come join me on my channel, subscribe, turn the alerts on by clicking that bell, and leave me comments. I will try to respond to you guys. Join me on the road to the Arnold. This is going to be a really fun and very difficult little journey over the next couple months to try to get that pro card. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.